only me peace, when in deep sleep in the same dream. World safe, smile on.
Like getting that vibe.
I used to watch that show.
It's like
it
was in New York City.
Taxi Trivia or something.
Yeah, I think it was in the city.
Your eyes see too naive for war and that'll screw you. Still bet it all on the glory, hallelujah. I heard the answer in the gibberish of an old drunk. All he said was he's in no rush.
Sergio, there's just nothing better about just two people. It's even better if they're different and they come from different backgrounds and they look different and they're different ages or different races, and just sharing about the struggles that humans deal with and helping each other get through it. Like that's like the most powerful, impactful thing that you can do.
Guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're exploring addiction, mental health, and what it means to truly live in the moment with Mitch Motivates. Mitch, you just took one for the team like a few minutes ago. Why don't you break down a little bit of what just happened right now and what it made you think of?
Okay, we're walking on location we wanted to get the Intrepid in the background, one of my most favorite nostalgic spots in New York when I would visit when I was a kid. And there's this patch of black ice right on the corner, and I tripped and fell, and I just like minor scrapes on the elbow, but I'm here, I'm alive. It just goes to show you how short this beautiful life is, and at any moment, anything that we have can be taken away. It just sent a gratitude shot up my spine of how every moment we have, I have to be grateful for, I have to be lucky for, and I have to realize how beautiful life is and how precious life is. And I got a good memory. I took one for the team here. A little scrape on the arm. A little scrape on the arm, but it could have been worse. But I'm fine, dude. I'm smiling because it could have been worse. And just a reminder for us both to enjoy our life today and to be grateful. Everything is a gift. God bless.
What the?
When's the last time you went to the Intrepid? Wait, dude.
I've never.
Intrepid.
What? I've never been there.
It's huge.
It's like a museum on a ship.
Yeah, with the chips and everything.
Yeah.
It's New York, dude.
Should we go inside?
I don't know. We're just acting for the camera. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just acting for the camera.
Pretty good out in your life. For people who have loved ones struggling with addiction, what's the best way to support them without enabling them?
It's a great question. And unfortunately, there's no one answer to this question, because you can be too loving and too supportive and then just be completely enabling of their addiction. And you can be too distant and then something bad happens to them. So there's no cookie cutter answer to how to deal with a loved one who has addiction. What I tell people is you have to be able to understand that you have to do whatever you're comfortable with to sleep at night. Because at the end of the day, only your head hits the pillow. And you have to be comfortable that you can't control what another human being does. So what I would tell people is to do what feels right and to do what makes them comfortable so they can sleep well at night, knowing that they've done everything they could to help someone. Now, again, there's no right answer because everyone is different. I'll give you two extreme examples. Let's say you're a parent and your son is a heroin addict. You can be like, okay, I know you have a problem. I know you want to stop, but I'm going to give you an allowance of $50 a week so you can give yourself something to eat. But they use the $50, they buy heroin, and they overdose and die. Another extreme example is you're a parent, your son is a heroin addict, and you say, I'm cutting you off completely because you're abusing my support and you're taking all the money I give you to buy drugs. So I'm cutting you off completely. And that means that you have to find your own place to live. You have to get your own job to make money for food and shelter. And that person becomes homeless and someone, they get mugged on the street and someone assaults them and they die. You know what I mean? Those are crazy examples. So the point is there's no right way. And I'll give you two good examples. My parents in my story were so supportive of me. I'm talking about when I went to rehab, they helped pack my bag. They're like, we paid for this rehab. We want you to go get the help. They bought me, because I sold my iPod to get drugs. This is before the iPhone, when they had an iPod only. You remember that?
Yeah.
They bought me a new iPod.
I just heard, sorry to interrupt, you can continue. I just heard that on the National Geographic's news that they actually are digging in the ground looking for old ancient stuff.
Yeah.
They found an iPod, they were dusting it up and found one of those the iPods.
Wow.
From back then. Slowly try to push some kind of button that I can.
You're like, what is this thing? Can you make calls on it?
Right.
Okay, no, but I gave two extreme examples. I want to give the same opposite examples. Like, so my parents were utmost support. They bought me a new iPod when I went to rehab. The iPad wasn't out then. And they were like, we're supporting you. We'll do whatever it takes. And that love and support got me through it, got me to get sober. And I'm still here today. Conversely, I've been with people who have been cut off from their families. We'll go back to the homeless example. They've been cut off. They live 1 or 2 nights on the street. They're like, fuck this. I'm getting a job. I'm just sleeping in a shelter. Through there, like that pain of being alone and like cut off motivated them to get their shit together. And they're still sober. So that's what I'm saying. There's no right answer. It's like you give them too much support. Maybe it goes good. Maybe it goes bad. You cut them off completely. Maybe it goes good and they use that to be motivated. Or maybe because they're in a bad situation, because you cut them off, something bad happens. So there's no right answer. The only right answer is you help your loved one out in the way that allows you to sleep at night and be comfortable knowing that you've done everything you can for this loved one. That is my answer, really. And I just gave examples.
Yeah, no. So it sounds like even if you are doing the right thing, which is, let's say, taking care of yourself and setting boundaries, shit can still go wrong. So why do you think it worked for you? Yeah. And how can you spot it's still working? How can you spot those kinds of traits in people, maybe, you know, to give some hope of this guy will probably get his shit together if I set some boundaries? Like, why did it work for you?
Yeah.
Do you think?
There's some level of that question that I'm just given to God, given to my higher power, that says, like, I don't know why I got this, but I know that I'm grateful to be alive and to be where I am. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm here with you. Like, I could have been napping and watching Netflix right now, but instead, like, I'm out sharing my story because I want to help people. So the answer is, like, you can support someone, but it doesn't have to be with money. You can help someone, but it doesn't have to be getting them into rehab or like physically being there with them. There's so many ways that you can help love and support someone. And then I feel like that is the answer.
What was kind of going on? So like, as you were getting help and your family was supporting you, what were like some thoughts going on in your head? Was there any hope of things getting better? How far could you see? And like, what did you do to help your process of recovery?
Got it. Well, I really like to say one day at a time. I would even play fun games with myself that says, like, when I was older, I would be doing drugs again, but for today, I'm going to be sober. And I would be like, I really bought into the one day at a time thing. I remember saying, like, I would be at a nursing home, like, doing coke, like when I was old, being a senior, you know? And because I was like, you know, for today, I could be sober, but in years down the road, I'll go back to drugs. But today, it's okay. So I would really bought into the one day at a time. And what I feel like for my family, what was so meaningful for me is that they were really learning and getting into like the family support angle of addiction. They were going to the rehab I went to, had this parent support group, and they would go weekly to the support group of other parents whose kids were in the rehab I was in.
That sounds fucking incredible.
Like my dad, I remember he told me he bought the big book. So Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12-step program, they have this, their book is called The Big Book. It's called Alcoholics Anonymous. The nickname is The Big Book. And my dad bought it on tape and he was listening to it. So like they would do stuff like that. Like my dad listened to the book I was given and read it to do the 12 steps. Like they would go to the support group. They would connect with other families who were going through the same thing. And because they were doing the work and doing research and getting educated, I was like, it inspired me. And I feel like addiction is a family disease. It affects, as you know, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, kids, aunts, uncles. Everyone is involved because it like bleeds into so many areas of life. And it's just cool when other people start doing the support and the work to understand addiction.
What's cool about it?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, that is family to me. Like that is love, because I love you. I'm going to look into what you have so I can help you get better.
Mm-hmm.
That's love.
I love that. That's huge. That's incredible that your parents did that. If they were here, I'd have like a ton of questions for them too. That's great. How do you balance ambition, recovery, and mental health in a city like New York City?
What an answer. I can just only tell you how I live my life. I mean, I have a lot of stuff going on. it's a fucking gift that I'm sober and I'm able to do all this stuff. Like, I have a full-time job. I wrote a book. I have like 2 or 3 jobs that I'm doing. I have a real estate business that I'm in. Like, there's so much going on. And I feel like, one, I have to be grateful. Like, the only reason I have any of this is because I'm sober. Like, I used to steal money and be a thief and scam people and steal like clothes and sell them. Like, I was a degenerate. And today, like, I get this life where I can be an honest business person and I just like stay in gratitude and just work my ass off because I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at, again, like, here's my addiction is my superpower moment. Like, we're here together on a Sunday making content. I work late. I work early. I get to show up, like, because I'm never hungover. I'm never tired because I was partying, and I'm never like chasing the wrong people. I'm only surrounded by supportive people. So like that is a superpower.
I have a follow-up on that, actually, on the response
Please,
you
yeah.
just gave. Do you ever find those? So in the past, you would steal and lie and do whatever the next thing was to get drugs or to sell something to get drugs. Do you ever find yourself having those kinds of, you know, knee-jerk kind of thoughts that just pop up of, you know, what maybe if I stole this or lied about that or did that, how do you handle those thoughts if you get them?
I mean, it takes practice. It takes practice. And trust me, there's like nights that I'm like last night, for example, I went to Rutgers. I went to College of Rutgers. I went back. I took the train from the city to New Brunswick to meet some of my college buddies for dinner. And on the train ride home, there were like 5 college girls in like mini skirts, like on the train. I bet you they're going to a party or a club and everyone's going to get drunk and they're going to meet, like, you know, and I'm thinking like, why aren't I partying like that so I can meet girls, you know? And I'm just like, I had to like walk away and move to a different train car so I could just like listen to a podcast and just like get out of that thought. Like I'm not a party guy. I don't even want girls like that. Like, they're too young for me, and like that's just not my vibe. Like, I'm looking for a wife, like not like a one night kind of girl. So it takes practice, dude.
Sounds like the most important part of what you just said to me.
Yeah.
Was that the first thing you did was step away.
Yeah,
Just get out of it. The area first. When
you practice that, you can understand that like living life as an addict, you have like a devil on your shoulder, and like it's always there, like planting the seed of like things you shouldn't be doing. Is a good example with those girls. Like, I shouldn't be anywhere near them. We have nothing in common. College girls dress like, you know, like corner girls going into the city for a fun Saturday night. Like, I have nothing in common with someone like that, and I have to stay as far as so like I have the thought, but I have enough practice that like I have tools how to deal with it. It's like that for many different things, but like that was just a great example. And at the end of the day, I was so proud of myself. I went to bed early. It's just like a superpower. But I want to talk about like the question you asked before about ambition and balance. Like, so we talked about that a little, about having a happy place. So I have many different things that I do to kind of regulate myself being in the craziness of New York. Another thing I've done recently is I moved out of the city. And that was like a big next step for me. Like, I live in the suburbs, so I'm like close to New York within an hour. And it's important to me now on nights and weekends that I have a place I can go to relax and to recharge. I was in a kind of bad funk for a little bit because at night and at nights and weekends, I wasn't able to recharge. And I really happy. And the next step for me, I ended up moving out of the city. I live in Connecticut and I live in the suburbs, and like, that's how I balance. Like, tomorrow I have to be at work at 6:15 a.m. And like, I'm able to take some time tonight in the suburbs to myself to like reflect, recharge, and be ready for a busy week.
What are some of the ways to reflect and recharge up there?
The newest thing I've been into is cooking. Like,
all right.
Yeah.
Mitch Motivates can cook.
You know it. Like, I have already in my fridge waiting for me. I have a steak and I have this like ravioli. I'm going to make, and I have a little salad. I'm going to make a little dinner tonight. I'm going to meal prep, and I think I have a lunch covered tomorrow. I'm going to put the leftovers in a little thing of the steak and pasta and have it for lunch on Tuesday. I plan like that.
I love
and like,
that.
it's just how I chill.
Wait, that sounds, by yourself?
Yeah, I'm with the dog, but like, yeah, by myself. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. So when's the
what?
When, you know, is it not obvious?
No. Tell me.
When's the invitation for some dinner?
Sergio, of course, dude.
Yeah?
You're coming
Hey,
over anytime.
Careful with your words. This is recorded.
Dude, honestly, we would be able to get such good content where I live in Connecticut. It's like there's so much nature. They have all these parks. It's so peaceful. But like, yeah, I do that. Another thing I do is I've talked about this with the podcast, but for me, learning podcasts, audiobooks, and physical books like are huge ways to recharge for me. And because I feel I really
Recent book.
I really like to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
You mean a recent book I read?
A book and podcast. Yeah, like recent that made a actual, lasting kind of.
Got it. Well, I always like to be moving forward every day in a positive direction. Like I always like to be, if I'm productive and I'm doing like knocking things off a to-do list or getting things done in my personal and professional life, that's where I'm at my best. So I love people that push that needle. So I listen to this podcast called Modern Wisdom by this guy Chris.
Yep.
Amazing. I just listened to like yesterday, Tony Robbins
It's great.
was on his podcast. So Tony Robbins is like so inspirational. Every time I listen to him, I take away something new. So I listen to that. And I'm reading this book right now called Never Be Angry Again by this doctor. It's just about getting through your human emotions and just like having emotions and dealing with that. So I really like that book.
That's actually a big.
It's like How to Never Get Angry, something like that. It's a pretty good book. I forgot the author's name.
That's something I love, and I actually talk a lot about in my content. Is like work on your processor. Like everyone's got a processor of life, whether it's good or bad. How are you processing all your information? So reading this, you just started the book.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What's any new tool or kind of thing that improved your processor?
Well, I'm gonna get back to you. But I think that something immediately that stands out is like understanding that everyone has emotions, everyone has fear and anxiety, and you don't have to feel like I don't have to take it personally when I get those things. It could just be like another thing that I think of that comes to mind that day. So like not taking emotions personally is something that like I'm really getting into that. Does that make sense? I'm getting into that concept right now.
Oh, 100%.
Like
Good or bad.
good or bad. You're right.
And for me, that was huge.
Yeah.
Because when I take something personally that's good, first of all, I either get my satisfaction, happiness, or dopamine from that. So I'm dependent on that. Or I get kind of, I get a little wrapped up in myself.
Yeah.
And kind of put too much responsibility and pressure on myself. Like I'm supposed to save everyone.
Yeah.
And it's not true. So you talk a lot about living in the moment. How do you personally stay present and not get caught up in fear or expectations?
What a great question. It's so helpful to think about stuff like that. So one, just having that in your mind about staying in the moment. We have this saying in recovery, you're like this, if you have 1 foot in tomorrow and 1 foot in yesterday, you're pissing all over today. And then here's
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that's good.
yeah. Here's another one. Have you seen the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance? One of my favorite parts is like when they were talking about Michael Jordan, they were saying his superpower is always being in the moment. And he was like, they called him a mystic because he was always able to stay in the moment and just be in the moment of the game. And the focus was just winning. And it takes practice, but being grateful, it all comes down to being grateful and not having 1 foot in tomorrow and 1 foot in yesterday and pissing all over the day, and just filling my life with so many things, personally and professionally. I'm just like, my life is too big to fail. I'm organized and I just plan stuff every day that I'm just so busy, personally and professionally, that I just have no choice but to be in the moment. And that really has helped me a lot.
I like that. Are there any kind of details you can get into on, as far as like how you plan that maybe anyone who's trying to get better at planning could adopt?
Yeah, I mean, use technology. I have the notepad in my phone. I have Google Calendar. I have my computer, my personal computer and my work computer. They all have things that I'm planning. And I'm really big on doing a to-do list and using the calendar to set myself up for success.
Love that.
So use technology. And if you don't know, go to ChatGPT. ChatGPT, how can I get more organized? Boom, boom, boom. So like for me, planning stuff and having the to-do list really helps me stay in the moment.
Love that. That's great advice.
Let's do one more question here, and then I'll too cool.
Okay. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10 right now, and look.
How horny am I?
No. No, not exactly. Not exactly. And it's a very personal question. I can cut it out of the video, so you don't have to answer. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I'm gonna say it. Try not to like freak out.
Okay, ask the how. Let's get rid of the horny comment. Then. Ask it
Okay.
again.
All right. But and no offense at all. Okay.
Please.
Don't take it personally.
Okay, no, never.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how cold are you?
I'm warm because I'm filled with love for Sergio and this content. So I'm a 1 on the cold scale because I'm just filled with warmth and light and love. Another hug. Another hug. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to interview me, because I know that you also could be sitting on the couch watching Netflix right now under a warm blanket. So I appreciate you.
Love that. Sweet. So, Mitch Motivates, if you can tell your past self one thing when you were struggling the most, what would it be?
You know what, Sergio? It would just be everything is going to work out as long as you're sober, Mitch. Don't stress so much about the past, because life is beautiful. Everything works out. Everything just works out. Don't stress so much about the future.
Love that. Just calm, peace, love to everyone.
Enjoy.
Don't take anything personally.
Yeah, because like I still do it. I still stress sometimes about what's tomorrow going to look like, what's later today going to look like. And I'm just over and over again, I'm always reminded that everything always works out, man.
Love that.
'Cause I have God, and I have my family, and I have my friends, and I have my sobriety. That's a wrap.
Love that. All right, now you got to do a little, I guess, when it's appropriate, a little honking and yelling and get the fuck out of him. I'm moving. I got somewhere to be.
I think I broke my horn. Like, it's not working.
Oh, shit.
That's how much I was using it. And
Is it actually not working?
not right now.
Okay.
I've never had that happen.
All right, well, guys,
Maybe
don't.
it has an auto. I used it too much. It has to recharge.
Yeah, it's like, well, kids, don't honk your horn too hard. I don't know what I'm
The horn, that's how aggressive of a New York City driver I am. But you know what? I'm a really safe driver, as you can tell. So it's good to be a little aggressive, a little defensive in New York. That's the secret. I think, they always ask me, Sergio, they always ask me, and I'm going to ask the question for me. Mitch, if you could have a dream job and not worry about money, what would it be? I would tell you I would be a New York City EMT driver, because I am such I'm the perfect mix of aggressive and defensive that, like, I'm probably the best driver in New York City, with or without a horn. And I know I could be an EMT driver and just save lives because of my driving. Literally, the horn doesn't work anymore.
Something I would have never guessed, never assumed.
Yeah, I would be an EMT driver because I'm the perfect mix of safe and aggressive.
You'll get people to where they need to be on time.
Save lives.